Now, of course, the newly tabled Alberta budget being called a spending spree with new money for hospitals, schools and new infrastructure. So what's in it for the Midwest region? Adam McVicker has that.
It's a budget aimed at making life better for Albertans.
Jobs, affordability, protecting the services that families count on. These are Albertans' priorities. These are your government's priorities.
While the government estimates the economy is rebounding, spending is also up, with higher investments in infrastructure, including healthcare and schools.
The choices we've made as a government is to continue to support Albertans with the necessary programs and services they require.
But what does this spending mean for our area? The most noteworthy investment, over $3 million for the Lloydminster Continuing Care Centre, just under $6 million over 4 years. There's also $100,000 earmarked for a youth assessment centre in Lakeland College. In education, 200 school upgrades and modernizations pegged at over $1 billion. 5 schools in the Midwest region receiving funding, including E.H. Walter School in Paradise Valley. An upgrade at École Malag in St. Paul made the budget's unfunded list. In advanced education, $6 billion invested this year. Portage College will receive just over $1 million for infrastructure needs, but an expansion at their Cold Lake campus remains unfunded. Here in Lloydminster, Lakeland College also on the list. As of Thursday, their trades building is an unfunded project. As for Lloydminster's wastewater woes, no listed funding to aid in their $80 million facility, but infrastructure grants for clean water and wastewater projects will receive over $200 million in 2017. Adam McVicker, Newcap News.
Well, Lakeland College is reaching a new high this academic year. The school is giving out close to $1.5 million in scholarships and bursaries.
A big push to post-secondary education is providing some accessibility for students, and so knowing that there's financial reward and awards for them is something that helps students come here, know that they can pursue that while they're at school.
Now, these scholarships and bursaries will help more than 1,500 students this year.
It's incredible how much money is invested from the donors into the students, and it's great to be recognized for what we do here and what we achieve as students here at the school. And I think it's definitely motivating for us as students.
The growth in the awards program is thanks to 7 new donors. Compared to 10 years ago, the amount has increased by close to $1 million.
But the biggest part of it has come from donors. It's been a really considered effort to work with our donors. People ask us how can they support students in the best way, and that has been in supporting some scholarships, awards, bursaries.
Lakeland College says they plan to continue to grow their awards program to meet the needs of students. Well, ODR season is officially over. The city announcing today it's closing outdoor ice surfaces due to the seasonal warm-up over the last week. Now, Bud Miller Park, Pond, and 8 other outdoor rinks are now closed for the season. The Husky Energy Oval has been closed since late February due to poor ice conditions. And as the melt continues, the city also warning residents to stay off bodies of water that appear frozen, like the stormwater retention lakes and the pond at Bud Miller Park. Well, restaurants and pubs across Lloydminster are filling up with people celebrating St. Patrick's Day, but the parties pale in comparison to the scene overseas. Ireland native Aisling Bracken, who's lived in Lloydminster for 4 years, says there's plenty of merriment in Canada, but the celebration of St. Paddy's Day back home extends to every community member.
The shops will shut down, and kids and football teams will get big floats together, and they work on them for months, and then they do a big parade through the town.
Despite some reinforcing of negative Irish stereotypes, Bracken says it's not exactly inaccurate, but that every experience with the celebration in Canada has been a good one.
When they find out you're from Ireland, they all seem to have a history of Irish and to tell you that they're related to someone from Ireland or they know someone from Ireland.
The one thing that Bracken says does grind her Irish gears is hearing St. Patty instead of St. Paddy. Well, they say most smiles are the cause of another. Well, Live Happy and the Lloydminster Big Brothers Big Sisters are recognizing just that. Chantel Germo explains.
March 20th marks International Day of Happiness, but Lloydminster will have the chance to celebrate on Saturday through several activities at the Service Sports Centre. For the first time, People will be able to fill out cards and post them on the wall of happiness, explaining ways they can make themselves or others happy.
It's a ripple effect. It's like going through the drive-thru. When somebody buys your coffee, your first thought is, man, that was so nice. And what do? You want to buy the next person's, right? So it just starts with you and it just moves out in a ripple.
For every card filled out, Live Happy will donate $1 to Big Brothers Big Sisters to go towards their programs.
When we do events, we look at any dollar raised is a dollar that we didn't have an hour ago. So it's our goal to support the event.
If you cannot make it to the service, there are other ways to participate and raise funds for the local organization. You can visit happyacts.org.
Everybody is really busy in our lifestyles these days, so it's nice to get people to just take a minute and think about being happy and think about what they can do to make somebody else happy as well.
Chantel Germo, Newcap News.
Well, it's the last weekend of winter and there are a number of events happening in the border city before spring kicks into gear. Heather Clagus with the details in this week's What's Happening.
It's all about kids, it's all about family time this weekend. One of the fantastic events you can check out is the Bumps Babies Tots and Teens Family Expo hosted by the Tent Guys out at the Lloyd X grounds. And there are so many different things that the kids are going to love, including a game zone, bouncy houses, there's an art wall, plus there's going to be a main stage with lots of live entertainment, including Peter and Mary, and tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock, Ronald McDonald will be there with a magic show. There's a whole lot of great things going on this weekend at the Bumps Babies Tots and Teens Family Expo at the Lloyd X grounds. Tomorrow afternoon, you've got the chance to see a really neat show on stage at the Vic Juba Community Theatre. It's put on by the Lakeland College of Performing Arts, Munchkins, and this is a series of short plays based on the Robert Munch books, and the kids that are going to be performing these plays, they've had a hand in helping to write them. It's going to be a really cool show and a really great opportunity for you to see just how talented some of the students are in this area. If you want to get your tickets for tomorrow afternoon's show, you can head online vicjubatheatre.ca. We want you to start your weekend by rocking out to the latest album from the Sam Roberts Band at Terraform. They're Juno Award winners in the past, and this album has also been nominated for a Juno Award for Rock Album of the Year. You can win a copy. It's really easy. All you have to do is email your name and daytime phone number to tvcontests@newcap.ca. We want to say thanks to John at Universal Music Canada for setting us up with the music. And now is the perfect opportunity for you to get your tickets for the upcoming Community Dinner Theatre in Kitscoty. At the end of the month, you've got a chance to see Take Your Medicine. Stop by Mason Agencies to get your tickets. Well, whatever you choose to do this weekend, I hope you have a great one. I'm Heather Clagus, and that's what's happening.
The saying, "You are what you eat," also rings true for our horses. Gerard Lampow finds out why the equine diet is so critical to overall performance.
What's good for the horse is good for the rider. Works both ways.
Equine Info Night, hosted by the Lloydminster Animal Hospital, saw a full turnout of horse lovers to hear Deborah Barry on the basics of good nutrition. Barry has 2 thoroughbreds, one of them being 36 years old. She says to consider activity levels, breed, age, and metabolism, and that horses need 10 to 14 gallons of fresh water daily, that they have small stomachs and need to graze about 20 hours every day.
Fiber is the #1 part of a horse's nutrition, and so as they mature and grow, we want to make sure they have the proper protein levels so that they develop properly, and then to make sure that they have the energy needs to perform what the person wants them to do.
Dressage, rodeo, and racehorses all have different needs. These animals require a balance of vitamins and minerals to get their metabolism working properly and supply their energy levels.
I'm a big believer in having proper probiotics. So we have the protective probiotics, so it actually gets to where it needs to be.
Since horses like to graze in herds all day, a major life change is taking them on the road.
Once we put them under stress, when we start hauling them and we start to show them and put them under different situations, remove them from their herd, because they're a herd animal, so when we take them from their herd and send them off to a show, then they have different needs.
Horse lovers were very receptive to this message.
The importance of making sure your horse has access to hay, water, very important, and knowing the numbers. Yeah, I think it all adds to having a balanced diet.
Deborah Barry has been in the business of horse nutrition for over 10 years. She has one more nugget of advice.
Don't get caught up in a lot of products out there. Take a look at what your horse needs, and with what your horse needs, then you feed them accordingly.
Gerard Lampow, Newcap News.
Well, about 105 horses in southwest Manitoba have been quarantined for the equine herpes virus, or EHV. The Manitoba Horse Council says it's caused abortions and neurologic disease in the last 3 weeks. The risk of spreading to our region is slim, but Dr. Michelle Kalfis is raising awareness.
There is quite a few horses that are affected. I think they said about 105, and so they try to get that under control right away, and biosecurity is a big part of it, and making sure that we can prevent the spread as best we can.
So far, 8 horses have died from neurologic disease. Some symptoms of EHV are fever, coughing, nasal discharge, depression, and going off feed. The recent warm weather has many people welcoming the incoming spring season, and it's no different for local sports organizations. Lance Phillips previews one of the most successful border city teams as it gets ready to open its season.
For 2 of the last 3 seasons, the Lloydminster Red Dogs midget football team has ended their season as Tier 1 Capital District champions. Practices are underway for 2017, and excitement is high for a team holding the distinction of defending champs. But defending that championship won't be easy.
We're pretty excited for it. We lost some really good players over last year and the year before, but with football, you know, you just keep reloading, and in Lloyd we like to think we reload all the time, not rebuild.
I think it's a learning team this year, but we also have a very strong shot. We have a lot of new guys, a lot of young guys. They have lots to learn, but they're very fast learners. They pick up on things really easy, and they're hard workers, and they want to play, they want to get in there, and they just want to have fun and play like the rest of us.
You always fear, though, am I ready, are we ready? But that's just part of football, that's part of any sport, right? So once we get the first game under the belt, we'll know what we need to work on.
The team starts the season without 20 of its senior players from last year. It's an obstacle the group faces each year, yet they always seem to thrive despite the reoccurring issue.
Well, you know, it starts with Pee Wee. A lot of these kids have been playing for 6-7 years before they actually get into this program, into midget, and they're playing high school. So, you know, the work they're doing in the off season and the work they're doing out here every night is invaluable for their growth.
You know, we have a strong belief with the Red Dogs. We actually call it Red Dog Pride, and it's about developing the kids this year, but we also believe in the future years to come. We are a Lloydminster Minor Football Association team, but we do support the whole district.
The season begins March 25th in Edmonton, and the goal for the standout program is twofold.
We're a very competitive team, and we want the win, and that's all we go for. We aim for the championship, and we've done that the last couple of years, and we're aiming for that again.
You know, yes, we do want to win. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But in that, you know, if we can develop the kids for the fall and if they can get an extra 30, 35 practices with this type of caliber of football, it's only going to make them stronger.
Lance Phillips, Newcap Sports, Lloydminster.